this is the first time I've ever been in a room where there are probably many Jensens. Usually, I'm the only Jensen in town.
You actually have a Jensen right behind you, and we did not plan that.
Well, nice to see all of you Jensens.
Well, welcome to Denmark.
Thank you.
It's amazing to have you here, and we're so thrilled that you are here for the first time in Denmark to celebrate with us and to celebrate Gefion.
It's not usual you can go to a country and see the king.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's unusual to see two kings, right?
Stop it! Do not. That has to end right there. There's only one highness in this room right now.
All right.
And I have to tell you a story. In 2019, when His Highness came to Silicon Valley to understand the innovative culture of Silicon Valley, and brought many Danish companies with him. And I had the opportunity to spend time with him, and my favorite part was over hamburgers. That was my favorite part. I didn't know what His Royal Highness would enjoy, but apparently hamburgers. And the thing that was really impressive to me was the questions that he asked about artificial intelligence and what he recalled in our future conversations about artificial intelligence and the impact that it has. And now Denmark is one of a handful of countries that has a national initiative to give its country, its people, access to this incredible instrument.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it is quite an extraordinary thing. So I want to congratulate Denmark and all of you for this incredible vision and the courage to take action and move fast to put this technology in the hands of your people.
Great, thank you. And for us, this is, yes, please. I think that needs a round of applause. And of course, we're very excited to have this collaboration, and we're very excited to be here and celebrate this moment. And for Denmark, it's a huge milestone.
Yeah.
But your technology, NVIDIA, is at the center of this milestone. So how does it feel to be part of this collaboration? What does it mean for NVIDIA to be part of this?
Nadia, as you know, you're so close to the computer technology yourself. There's several things that's happening, and I think on every single dimension it is extraordinary. And let me describe three ways of thinking about it. One way is that we're reinventing computing for the very first time in 60 years. The computer that we largely know, general purpose computing, was really described almost precisely in 1964, the year after my birth, by IBM, the most important computer that we can reasonably say industrially that has ever been created, the IBM System 360. And that computer describes what we now know as computing. We've reinvented computers in the sense that it is no longer coding, human coding, programmers coding, it is now machine learning. It is no longer writing software that is used, but is now developing artificial intelligence. That is a digital form of intelligence. And instead of running on, of course, CPUs, which is code running on CPUs, it is now neural networks running on GPUs. So this complete reinvention of the computing stack hasn't happened in 60 years. The second thing is the idea that a new industry has been formed. If you take a step back and you think about Gefion, in time you'll discover that it's not a data center, but it is an instrument of digital intelligence. It's a factory of intelligence. And data will go into Gefion, it will be refined and processed, and somehow intelligence will be produced. Gefion is going to be a factory of intelligence. And this factory of intelligence is a new industry that never existed before. It sits on top of the IT industry. We're inventing something fundamentally new. It's just never existed before. From that perspective, the invention of a new industrial revolution has to be evaluated and thought through from the impact of every single country and every single industry.
Yeah.
And so now, what has companies and how does researchers think about artificial intelligence? We're going to have collaborators that are going to be super intelligent at what they do. And so whether you're a scientist, you can't afford not to have a super intelligent assistant. A CEO or a company can't not have super intelligent assistants. And so all of the researchers and scientists and companies and industries are now awakening to the idea that what we're building here is a manufacturer of intelligence, and what country can afford not to have this infrastructure? Just as every country realized you need to have communications, transportation, healthcare, fundamental infrastructures, the fundamental infrastructure of any country surely must be the manufacturing of intelligence.
Yes.
And so this third idea that all of a sudden, whereas it was okay to have other countries produce computers in the past, that idea that Western countries could be manufacturing computers that we use, that concept, fine for the past, but in the future, how could any country not control or at least master the artistry of producing intelligence? And so for Denmark to realize that so early on and to be one of a handful of countries in the world, frankly, that has now initiated and activated on this vision, I think is really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the thinking about it as infrastructure, as a tool, because it also implies that we're enabling something to happen. It's not the infrastructure for infrastructure's sake, but it's what it's enabling. So I think that's very correct. And of course, NVIDIA is a global company, and I know you're passionate about bringing AI to many parts of the world. But you did decide to have these conversations in Denmark. And was there something unique about Denmark that drew you to the idea? Do you think we have some special ingredients that will make us successful?
Well, I've had the benefit of meeting so many from the foundation, Novo Nordisk Foundation. Very few CEOs in the world get visits from kings wanting to understand the impact of the technology to their country. And I am so proud of the partnership that we have. So inspired by the initiative of this country. A lot of countries talk about it.
Yes.
A lot of people talk about it. In fact, give me one example of one country in the world that's not talking about artificial intelligence right now. But how many people have done something about it? And I think that's extraordinary. And I'd love to be part of that.
Yes.
And it is the reason why we're going to dedicate so much of our computer scientists to work with you, to partner with you, Nadia, and to make sure that whether it's life sciences that His Highness mentioned, climate technology, to other forms, whether it's robotics technology or the physical sciences or the language sciences, digital intelligence. All these different industries are going to benefit from artificial intelligence, and I'm delighted to be partnered with you to do that.
And likewise, and your team has been absolutely wonderful, and we're so very much looking forward to working with them even more as we start onboarding customers.
Very few technology companies has as many scientists working. And the reason for that is because we need to go explore the science so that we can partner with you.
Yes.
As you know, we have amazing quantum computing scientists in our company, and Nadia is incredibly well known in this field, and we love partnering with her to do this. And whether it's in quantum computing or life sciences and digital biology or climate technology, we have a lot of expertise in this area, and we have a lot of deep passion in this area, and so it's a great area to collaborate.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very much looking forward to that intersection of quantum and AI. And I love the fact that one of the strategic flagship projects that we picked is the acceleration of quantum computing with AI. So looking forward to see what that yields. And one of the amazing things about Gefion is it is an NVIDIA DGX SuperPod. It's very big. We have 1,528 GPUs. I feel like the most popular person wherever I go. I can just start the conversation with, I have over 1,500 GPUs and everybody wants to talk to me, right? But when you think about that scale of infrastructure, the access to that many GPUs, we think it's going to be a game changer, but would love to hear your perspective about what a difference that will make for innovators, whether they're coming from academia or the business side.
Well, artificial intelligence is about the exploration of data to discover meaning. And so we have lots of ones and zeros, and we have to go figure out what is the meaning of that data, how to discover what is called representation. Unfortunately, without being able to explore a large space of data, and oftentimes now multimodality of data, it is difficult to find meaning. And we would like to find the meaning in chemistry, find the meaning in proteins, find the meaning in the world, physical world, so that we can understand the meaning of the information that we're providing, but also be able to generate information. And so maybe in the future we'll be able to generate life-saving drugs. Maybe we can generate examples of protein targets that particular life-saving drugs could also be effective on. We're already generating today extremely fine resolution physics so that we can predict weather. And all of this capability is not possible without very large scale. And so that's the reason why we build these large systems, so that we can ingest and take in data of all kinds, and from within it, find its meaning.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the examples that you mentioned, and even having conversations with potential customers, and when we did the open competition, we did see quite a diversity of potential use cases that were interested in using Gefion. So a lot of life sciences, of course, I think because of our relationships here, and the history, of course, with Denmark and health sciences. But also weather modeling came out quite a bit. Interesting problems related to sustainability and the green transition also came up.
Yeah, it's possible for us to predict weather next week relatively well.
Yeah.
Well enough that we can decide whether we should wear a sweater or a jacket or not. However, for us to predict medium range weather, whether that's maybe a month out or 3 months out, has tremendous benefits. It's a tremendous value to shipping and logistics and risk management and the financial industry. And so the number of implications that could be addressed if we could better predict medium range weather. Incredible. And that capability is simply impossible today. Because if we were to use classical first principle simulation approaches, it would take supercomputers that are 1 billion times larger than we currently have. But we might be able to teach an AI how to go predict it for us. And so I'm very optimistic about that work, and we have a lot of people working on it. And I think the impact is going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I don't want to steal their thunder and say too much, but we do have a use case presenting later today.
Oh, exciting.
Precisely that topic. So we're very excited to see what they will do with very good data and then access to Gefion for the first time. And I'm curious if you've thought about any use cases that you're especially interested in seeing on Gefion. Do you have a wish list for what you would like Gefion to do?
Well, my single favorite area of work is in digital biology. My generation, so you know how computers are designed. Our computers are giant, but we design everything as a digital twin.
Yes.
And so everything from the chip to the system to the software and all the supercomputers is simulated in a digital twin before we make it. So by the time that we build the system, we know it to be perfect. We would never launch the rocket without knowing that it's going to fly, it's going to work. And so for us, the ability to use our computer to be our digital twin for discovery and for simulation and creation is groundbreaking. It is the reason why today we're able to build such enormous systems. Well, the era of computer-aided drug discovery must be within this decade. And we now have the necessary, maybe not at the moment, but I think over the course of the next 5 years or so, 10 years or so, I'm hoping that what the computer did to the technology industry, did for the technology industry, will do for digital biology. And this will be the decade of digital biology. So that's one. The second area that I'm very excited about is at the intersection of information and physics.
Yes.
Most of the world's physical industries, whether it's heavy industries or the physical sciences, almost all of the different domains of physical sciences, heavy manufacturing, manufacturing of chemicals or plants, or that area is really underserved by computing technology. And the reason for that is because we don't know how to represent the physical world. And so now we finally have the ability to use artificial intelligence to understand the physical world, that we can represent all of this as a digital twin. And when we can represent factories and systems as digital twins, then we can, of course, do a better job designing it inside a computer and operating it and maintaining it and optimizing it. And hopefully all of the world's manufacturing systems will be a lot more efficient, waste a lot less energy, build amazing things.
Yeah.
So that's the next boundary of, maybe we call it physical AI, is going to be very exciting.
Yeah. Two very small goals for the next 10 years. Those are two huge things.
Well, if we could do that, then AI can address the world's entire $100 trillion industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you think even more into the future, so past 10 years, do you think it will be the same industries that will keep getting the benefits of AI? So do you think there's industries that we're not even thinking about that will benefit from this technology in the long term?
Well, it's going to be hard to say. You know, the technology is moving so fast.
Yeah.
But one of the things for sure, I think the separation between digital information and physical world is going to be very hard to tell. I think that the concept of digital twins are going to be the fidelity is going to be so high that it's going to be very difficult to tell whether that factory is a physical version or a digital version. And the whole point is you shouldn't have to be able to tell. And when that happens, then cities will be completely optimized digitally, factories will be optimized digitally. Hopefully, a lot of humans will have digital twins so that doctors will be able to understand how we're doing and hopefully be able to predict our health long before we get sick. And all these digital twins are going to happen. And I think the code that's going to help us understand it is really artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Are there areas of research we should be especially supporting to make sure that happens even quicker?
Well, boy, if we do an incredible job with computer-aided drug discovery, I think that's going to revolutionize the industry. You know, we call it life science today because, as you know, science is sporadic.
Yes.
It's hard to systematically advance science like we do with engineering. The benefit of engineering is that we have tools and methods that allows next year to be built on top of this year, and the year after that to be built on top. Well, if we could turn life sciences into life engineering, because we have the necessary technology and the methodologies and tools, and hopefully artificial intelligence is exactly that enables it, then all of a sudden drug discovery could advance in a way that technology has.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for that.
I love that. Did you just coin the term life engineering? Can we say this is a
Sure.
first?
From here on.
From Denmark.
It happened at Denmark.
Straight from Jensen Huang, life engineering. That's the future. That's where you should invest. But I completely agree with you. And for me, that was one of the appeal also of this Danish ecosystem is you have very strong companies in that space. You have startups in that space. You have a lot of data in that space.
That's right.
And also a lot of talent. And when we talk a lot about the ingredients for AI innovation to be the compute and the models and the data, but there's also the talent. And that's
right.
something that is really here present in Denmark. So that makes me very hopeful to be able to accomplish this vision that you have. In
Well,
the next 10 years.
let's make this ground zero.
Yes,
Let's make this
absolutely.
ground zero for the future of computer-aided drug discovery.
Yes, 10 years from now, we will meet again and see if we've accomplished that goal. Maybe.
Less than that.
I was just going to say, I'm an overachiever,
Less
so
than
let's
that.
do it sooner than that.
The industry is so I think you said it right earlier. His Highness was right that this technology is growing exponentially. Just so you put it into perspective, we know of this phrase called Moore's Law, and Moore's Law was used as a standard of technology, pace of technology, and it was doubling every year and a half. And so 10x every 5 years, 100x every 10 years. Well, artificial intelligence in the last 10 years has grown in scale, not by 100 times, but 100,000 times. And so the scale of this technology, the pace of innovation, the rate of surprise discoveries by everybody is at a pace that nobody had ever predicted. We are absolutely growing exponentially. Now, the scale of the technology is not 2 times every year and a half, but is 4 times every year.
Wow, that's a lot.
4 times every year. The way to think about that is it's very hard to imagine 10x. It's extremely hard for people to imagine 10x. It's 10x every 2 years, 16x, right? And so in 2 years' time, you won't recognize the technology if you're not on that spaceship.
Yeah.
So you've got to get on that spaceship. And this is one of the things that I encourage our company to do. Don't just talk about it, get into it. And the reason for that is because it's moving so fast. If you're on the spaceship, it doesn't matter how fast the spaceship is going. But if you're not on the spaceship, it's going to look like it's traveling at the speed of light. And that is the challenge for a lot of people. And I'm just delighted that Denmark is going to engage this exponential technology. And I have every confidence that Gefion is going to be oversubscribed on day one. I am certain of it, in fact. And I'm very certain that after a year, you'll be surprised by the amazing research that comes out of it.
Yeah. Well, that will definitely be amazing if we are oversubscribed on day one. I think some of my team is probably thinking, oh my God, are we ready for that many people? But I think you're right.
I've built 5 of them.
Yeah.
And every one of them has been oversubscribed on day one. And I'm still chasing it. Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right, because just the level of interest that we've been getting, even before we've even inaugurated, right? Before it was even built, has been overwhelming. But it would be really nice to see, of course, not just quantity, but also the quality of the research, as you mentioned. So that would be really great to see. But you mentioned the pace, and that's been on my mind as well, because with technology advancing so fast, we, of course, as the Danish Centre for AI Innovation, right? It's in our name. We have to stay at the forefront of that innovation. So what do you see as the biggest things to watch out for in terms of AI innovation in the hardware space specifically?
Well, I think that today is a big day. I can't overemphasize the importance of what you've done here. A lot of people ask me, what are some of the important decisions that we made? Of course, one of the most important decisions we made was observing this transition from coding to machine learning, and that it was going to change computing altogether. And we observed we were able to reason about it from first principles and realized that every single layer of computing was going to change. And so we realized it, we believed it, we were excited about it, and we decided to dedicate our entire company to go after it. So that was one good decision. But the second great decision was realizing that in the future, no technology, no software, and surely no software in NVIDIA could be developed without machines. And so on the one hand, you could say the future is going to be machine learning, but on the other hand, as a technology company, we don't have systems to be able to do that. And in fact, as I'm sitting here saying all this, there are tons of technology companies in the world who don't have these AI supercomputers. They talk about it in PowerPoint slides, but they very rarely do anything about it. Well, one of the biggest decisions and best decisions I ever made was deciding to build our own AI supercomputer. In fact, the DGX SuperPod, the one you have, is the third generation. The first generation I hand-delivered. You know, they call it, they said, people in Silicon Valley said, Jensen will DoorDash DoorDash is our, is there a DoorDash here? What do you guys?
No, there's no DoorDash.
No?
Haven't found it yet.
It's called what?
Just Eat is probably.
Just Eats. Okay, so you just punch up a supercomputer, Jensen will drive it to your house. And so
By the way, I wasn't told about this service.
Yeah. And so I delivered the first DGX to ourselves. I built it for ourselves, in fact. DGX was built not for customers, it was built for ourselves. And a friend of mine, his name is Elon Musk, he saw me give GTC, the conference you guys went to. He saw me talk about DGX, and he says, I need one of those. And I said, okay. And he said, I've got this nonprofit company, and I delivered to the company, and he was there. The photographs are on the internet, and that company was OpenAI. And this was the instrument that was the first computer they used. And now we have the third generation. And I think that to dedicate yourself to realize that in order for science, this type of science, to happen, you need an instrument. This is no different than a particle accelerator. This is no different than having a radio telescope. There are things that you simply can't do if you don't have the instrument. And so now we build the instrument of discovery, the instrument of intelligence, and this is a very big day. I'm very proud of you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. And you talked a little bit about your journey at NVIDIA, and we're at the beginning of our own journey at DCAI, and we're also enabling our customers' own innovation journeys and AI journeys. Do you have any parting words of advice? There's a lot of innovators in this room. Some of them are more advanced with AI. Some of them are still learning about AI. What would you encourage them to do to make sure they don't miss the spaceship?
Let's see. There's so much. One of the great things, of course, is artificial intelligence has largely innovated in open. Mm-hmm. And so it is one of the reasons why the technology is moving so fast. Amazing research being done at Berkeley, at Stanford, at MIT, Harvard, University here in Europe. The amount of open science that's been done around artificial intelligence is extraordinary. And the number of archive papers that are, every single morning is incredible. And so I think that the thing that you've done is you now have an instrument. From that instrument, you could recruit amazing researchers to come and do their research here. And without an instrument, you can't attract amazing researchers. It is simply the first thing you have to do. In order to commit, in order to show your commitment to this field, you have to first show investment in the field. That was the first thing that I did, and as a result of that, amazing research joined NVIDIA. And I think that this is going to be the beginning of some really, really exciting time for Denmark. I do predict this, that all of the researchers are going to be clamoring for time on the system. Mm-hmm. And you're going to find in the beginning that they're all happy with you because they would like to get some of your time on your system. And then after that, it's going to be like my researchers with me. They're all unhappy with me because none of them can get enough.
Yes.
So I think that this is going to be the beginning of some really, really terrific science.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited for you guys.
Yeah, we're
Thank
super
you.
excited, and that would be such a good problem to have, right?
Yes.
When we get to when we get
Yes,
to
that's
that
what
point.
you're looking for.
Exactly.
That's what you hope for.
Yes.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Thank
Very
you
excited
so
for you.
much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.